The man convicted of stalking Uma Thurman just won't give up. Jack Jordan was arrested after trying to reach the actress by phone, and as Andrea Canning reports, that violates a court order barring him from any contact with Thurman for 5 years.
For years, Jack Jordan terrorized actress Uma Thurman, and now the former psychiatric patient has been arrested again. Police say at his parents' home in Maryland, he was literally Googling Thurman's name moments before being taken into custody. Jordan is now facing charges he violated a restraining order by calling the star's office and her cell phone. He allegedly said that her boyfriend was, quote, not good enough and she should marry me.
Do you still love Uma Thurman?
Said, don't touch me with your microphone.
In 2008, Jordan was found guilty of stalking the actress. During his trial, Thurman was forced to read aloud disturbing letters. He used words like mouth, soft, kissing, and seduced, and she recalled a photo he sent of a headless bride. These exclusive photos provided to GMA by Jordan's parents show a much different side of their son when he was the president of his high school senior class and the captain of his swim team. But as a college student, they say he became interested in the teachings of Dr. Robert Thurman, Uma's father, and that's when his obsession began.
I hate you, Nat Saunders.
In 2005, he showed up on the set of her movie, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, with a postcard that read, "My hand should be on your body at all times." He was banned from having contact with her for 5 years, along with 3 years probation and psychiatric treatment. But was it enough?
The punishment needs to be much firmer.
Alex Moore, a stalking victim and the founder of Survivors in Action, believes jail time is the only answer.
We're sending a message to the perpetrator every time they receive a lighter sentence. We're sending the message to them that, hey, go ahead and do it. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Jordan's parents say they just want their son to get the help he needs and say he even called to apologize to the actress for what he has done. For Good Morning America, Andrea Canning, ABC News, New York.
And for more on this, we're now joined by Dr. Michael Wellner, one of America's top forensic psychiatrists. Thanks for coming back again this morning, Dr. Wellner. And I guess this is 3 years after the first arrest, 2 years after the conviction. Does it surprise you that Jack Jordan is doing this again? And what could trigger this kind of an action?
Good morning, George. It doesn't take much to trigger, and we've got to appreciate celebrity stalkers as people whose emotional identity is overly wrapped up in the notion that they can have a relationship with someone famous. They're overly invested in it, and because their lives are otherwise disconnected, isolated, and even empty, that level of investment makes them vulnerable to a whole host of triggers to go right back to where they were before.
And we had read one possibility could be that he had recently cut back on his meds. Does that make sense to you?
Well, in my experience in dealing with stalking cases, there are 4 essential components if you want to eliminate them or if you want to limit them. Separation, redirection, and that may involve treatment because some people are not going to respond to treatment. Some people aren't going to respond to medication. And finally, deterrence. Part of the reason why we shouldn't find this surprising is that there's no deterrence in probation. Whether it be hospital, whether it be jail, or whether it be exile, actually eliminating a person's privileges as an American citizen because they can't respect the rights of another. People who inspire terror and fear in others and do it because of their own absorption in themselves. There has to be a deterrent factor because if not, someone is vulnerable to these kinds of triggers and can go right back to this kind of behavior because the message that they've been given is that because there's no violence involved, that the victim's not necessarily affected. And we've got to rethink that.
One of the strangest twists in this case, at least for me, is that he first got obsessed with Uma Thurman after studying her father's writings. That seemed quite unusual to me.
Well, perhaps that's true, and perhaps it's a nicer way of looking at things. How did he even find out about her father? A lot of people have found out about her father, who's certainly accomplished in his own right, but have found out about her father through Uma Thurman. So I think a closer psychiatric examination of him and his history would yield the origins. But the bottom line here is that she feels terror, she feels fear, she feels vulnerability and insecurity, and that kind of emotional impact is enduring. It doesn't take a physical assault for this kind of crime to be significant.
And the way
people are punished.
And the way she deals with it
People
is by not commenting at all. That's what makes the most sense. You don't want to give the stalker any thread that they can grab onto for a relationship.
Absolutely. No contact, go to the authorities. But for a plan to work, separation, it was there. Redirection, we don't know. Treatment as an option, but there has to be a deterrence, and then someone can perhaps find more adaptive pursuits and benefit from treatment at the same time confronting vulnerabilities.
So that means this time around, you believe he should probably go to jail for some time.
I think that he should go to jail and appreciate that there are actually consequences to the emotional impact on Uma Thurman, even if he says, well, all I did was call her, which is, in my experience, what a stalker would do. I just called her. I didn't hurt her. He's not connecting and not allowing himself to connect to the painful emotional impact because in his mind, there's an idealized relationship. And you're not going to take him away from that. He's going to have to confront consequences to make other choices.
Okay, Michael Wellner, thanks very much.